Okay, we are live. Can you hear me, Sandeep?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Okay, great. I can see Sandeep. I can see Uncle. Welcome everyone. Namaste. मैं हूँ Vanshika. और today we thought, we'll do something different and informative and speak with an expert on this matter. So these days, everyone has a lot of questions regarding anything to do with tax, regarding the issues, with small businesses. So we wanted to talk to an expert, and we are today with Mr. Pradeep Sulhan. Hello, Uncle. Welcome to Namaste Radio.
Hello. Good evening to everybody. Thanks for taking me on here. Thanks to Namaste Radio. Thanks to Sandeep. Thanks to Vanshika. I would like to qualify that in no way am I an expert. Okay, I would love to share some information that I know that we've been reading. A lot of information is being passed around. It's quite overwhelming. Even for me, it's quite overwhelming. So I'm here to help as much as I can.
And thank you, Uncle. And again, welcome. And before we move forward, I also want to tell Uncle happens to be Sandeep's dad.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about him for so long, and finally today, he is with us in front of the camera. So it's really good to see you here, Uncle.
No problem with that. Feel free to call me Pradeep. Okay, feel free to address me as Pradeep. I have no issues for that. Yeah, you can do that too.
No.
For the interview, Sandeep, you need to call him Mr. Pradeep.
Yeah.
So yes, I personally have had so many questions, but to start with today, we definitely want to talk about the, like April 15th is always the deadline for filing individual business taxes. Of course, if anybody doesn't want an extension. So now that they've been postponed till or, made till July 15th, would you like to first start with talking about that?
Yes, in all the 45, 50 years I've been here, April 15 is the day. But unfortunately, I would like to say unfortunate because it's because of, certain, this coronavirus. But April 15th has been automatically moved to July 15th now. Of course, there was always extensions for people, and a lot of people don't realize it, but there's always extensions up to 6 months for folks who want to take extensions. But this time, just the normal filing date has been moved to April 15th. And not only that, they have moved up to 6 months to April 15th. And they've also, they've also moved the business deadlines to July 15th. And they've also said that the businesses that owe or that owed money on April 15th or March 15th, they have up through July 15th to make these payments without any penalties or interest. So that's a big concession the Treasury Department, under the direction of President Trump, has made. So our deadline now is July 15th officially.
Okay, so just to again confirm, from April 15th, we moved for individual and for businesses to July 15th. And if anybody owes anything to the IRS, is that also like you can pay all the way till July 15th, or is there some other later date to it?
No, that is correct. Actually, if you, and again, a lot of folks don't realize this, if you owe money to the IRS, there is no such thing as an extension. Okay, the extensions are only good if you have made advance payments by the due dates. Okay, so they have moved that due date for everybody, small businesses, individuals, corporations, everybody. Okay, they have moved that due date to July 15th without any penalties or interest. So that's what it is.
So that is a good relief.
far as the federal is concerned. Because whatever I say here is according to federal rules. Because as you know, we only do federal income taxes in the state of Texas. So I'm most familiar with federal rules, you know.
Okay.
So that's what the federal rules are. You know.
Great. Okay. And now we also have Sushil who has joined us.
Welcome. Hi. Namaste.
Good evening. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste, Deep.
And for the interview, I'm going to make sure that we can call him Pradeep today. So
Awesome.
we are talking with Pradeep today.
CPA.
Yes. The next big question before I let Sandeep, ask you the questions later, because everyone, I mean, at least everyone I know is somehow suffering. Either they have loss in business, they have been furloughed, they have been, either just told, okay, no more job, or, they've been layoffs. So we have been hearing about there was like, it took a week for everybody, for them to make it a law for the stimulus package. We are now hearing about the CARES Act. So please tell us about that money that we know would be coming to all citizens or residents. Who will be getting that money? Is it only US citizens, or is it even people who just pay their taxes who are not US citizens or green card holders? That is one big question that I've heard from people, from friends, that even if people who are not US citizens or green card holders, will they be also getting the stimulus package, that check?
Okay, from what my understanding, you've asked a lot of questions and you brought about a lot of things in this one big question. But from what my understanding is that anybody who's filed a tax return, and within the tax return, different schedules, and will ask you different questions. And one of the questions that they added recently, for at least the last 2 years, was citizenship and residencyship. Okay, so at least on the federal forms. Okay, a lot of folks who get credits, child credits, tuition credits, this and that. So this is quite an extensive thing. But from what my understanding is, simple answer. What my understanding is, anybody who's been filing a tax return will get this. Will eventually get this $1,200 stimulus check. Now, when will they get it? That's a different story. But whether they were a resident, whether they were a US citizen, but as long as whatever they declared on their tax returns, as and when they were made to declare, they are going to get this. So to answer this question, yes, there are status requirements. If you're single, the limit is so much. If you're married, the limit is so much. And if you are head of household, this is the limit. They do have certain qualifications. A lot of people, exemptions that they took, which a lot of people were not told before. If you owe money to the government in the form of child care, or through the government in the form of child care, or if you were in default with the government, you may not get this check. Okay, you may be eligible, but you may not get this check. But that's a different story. Now, one of the things I want to, and then if I haven't answered any of your question, I will come back to that, just remind me. But one of the things I do want to tell everybody is, before you go applying for any kind of stimuluses or any kind of benefits that the SBA or FEMA or your local TWC, Texas Unemployment Commission, is giving to you, folks who have rents, there are certain landlords that might be in sympathy with you, and they might give you an extension. So approach them first. Folks who have car payments. There are banks and there are car loan companies, auto loan companies that are willing to give you a relief, and they're willing to extend and giving you relief and foregoing the payment right now. It's not that they're going to forego it. They're just going to add it at the tail end. And most of these larger companies, reputable companies, will add all this at the tail end. Okay, it's not that next month, whenever this comes through, we have to make a double payment or triple payment or whatever. They will add it to the tail end of your loan. So whether it's an auto loan, whether it's a personal loan, whether it's a credit card loan, even if it's a mortgage loan, especially mortgage holders are very much willing to help you out. So before you panic or get upset or get nervous and you know, take this any further, you know, mentally or just personally, look into that, approach those companies, and they will give you a relief. That is a very good thing. A lot of these businesses, you know, hats off to them. God bless them. You know, they are definitely willing to work with you. So approach them first before you go and start in the long process of either FEMA or SBA or paychecks or any other kind of relief packages, because those relief packages are a different story. They may be there, they may not be there for everybody. In the end, was a stipulation. There was a rumor I heard that all SBAs and FEMAs and all these people have a certain budget. So if suppose they are overwhelmed with requests, it may come down to first come, first serve kind of a basis. So I would definitely go to these different doors and knock on them first. Okay, so I hope I was clear. Any comments? Anything?
No, you everything was great. What you said is really great information, and I mean, I'm sure everybody listening, if they have any further questions, you all can, you know, put it on our Facebook Live right there, or you can message us on Namaste Radio Facebook page, so that, you know, while Pradeep is here, he can answer all your questions. It takes a little practice for me to call him Pradeep, though.
Very proud of you. You're doing great.
Yeah.
Hi, Pradeep ji, how are you?
Fine. How are you, Sushil?
Very good, very good. So a quick, you know, in the beginning of the conversation, you know, while you were giving us all these information about the stimulus act, the stimulus package, basically, there's a big portion of the CARES Act that involves small businesses, because they do make up a lot of, you know, revenue in terms of our GDP of the country itself. So what packages? There's a lot of confusion going on itself in town, especially with small businesses. They don't know what exactly is the package the government is going to come up with, what they can apply, Are the banks, do they have the details? Can they go apply? Can they not apply? So if you can give us a little bit more information on that aspect.
Okay. From what my understanding is, and it is limited, and I do take a reservation of that, and I do apologize if I'm passing on anything incorrect or not. That's not up to date. But SBA has got at least two stimuluses or benefits that they can give you. They can give you loans at low interest. That's one of the things I heard and briefly read upon. Then SBA can also give you certain grants which will be forgiven, and there's some criteria for that. And to some extent, if you do qualify and are able to apply for those, they will give you a subsidy or give you a boost or a support, and they may forgive that. Then they've also have this payroll system that they've started. They announced recently, which you know, folks that are the employees, they are still going to keep those employees, but the employees may not be able to come to work, or they may not have enough business to keep the doors open. And as long as they keep on paying those employees, you know, they will get some relief in the form of cash towards the wages they've paid. Now, most of these benefits you have to go through SBA, And from a recent thing that I saw this morning was folks, small businesses were told to contact SBA lender banks. And it was said that these SBA lender banks would direct them, would help them out, would direct them. Now, again, there's a question of the banks itself may be overwhelmed, okay? And then since we are told we are told to maintain social distancing, how is that going to work out? So I'm not very sure on that. But folks were told, small businesses were told to contact SBA lenders and put their applications through them. So there may be certain designated independent agents that may be working for these agencies or these banks. I do want to caution everybody on that, okay? Don't be scammed. Again, SBA and IRS both have issued warning bulletins that don't be scammed by agencies and free agents who want to charge you fees and do this.
Yeah.
So be leery of that. Don't go ahead and spend money a lot of fees, trying to gather information and do this, because one thing, it could be a scam. And even if it's real, even after going through all this, you may find out later on you're not eligible for it. So hey, you have spent a lot of money doing this, but you're not eligible.
Mm-hmm.
From the information I have, that you have to contact SBA, or you have to contact SBA lender banks and then start. There may be, there are certain things available through FEMA, and that's a different ballgame. So you have to contact FEMA for that.
Have they given any requirements in terms of paperwork? Like what would you need for you to apply, or businesses?
Unfortunately, I don't know of all the details as to what the requirement is, but apparently these lender banks or whoever's trying to help you, they do have a list.
Right.
One of the things that I know about is that obviously, other than asking you for general information and corporate and IRS information on your companies to prove its validity and its genuineness, they are going to ask you for payroll details.
Okay.
And they are basing all this on what your payroll has been in the last year. And one direct way for them to verify that is a small business, every business, and even small business, including small business, they have to file a quarterly report, which is with the IRS on your payroll, and it's called a 941. So at least they're requiring that you send your quarterly 941 reports. And so apparently they must have a way of verifying this directly with either the Social Security Administration or the IRS to see if the quarterly report is genuine. But right now, the only thing I've heard is that they are asking for your quarterly reports of 2019.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So I saw three things, like out of my knowledge, like the best thing was for me to go to the SBA website, sba.gov, and then over there I saw under the CARES Act, the first thing I saw was the EIDL, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. Under that, I also saw the the loan advance, where for a small business, they could apply, and within 3 days, up to 10, of course, depending on what they are getting, like, or what they might be probably having some kind of requirements that your business has to be in so many years of business, so much payroll. So they are providing an immediate assistance by offering this loan advance. And if you are, if you get approved, then within 3 days you can get up to $10,000 in your bank account under EIDL. And the other one I personally saw was the Paycheck Protection Program that SBA introduced, but I don't know if it's already, are they already giving it out, or it is just in the works? I don't know about that.
No, one of these programs, the application process starts tomorrow, April 3rd.
Okay.
So no, they're not giving anything out yet. So
Okay.
one of them starts on April 3rd, and there was another one that was supposed to, the other SPA program was going to start on April 8th. But this paycheck program, this payroll paycheck program, the application process is going to start tomorrow.
Okay, so the Paycheck Protection Program PPP is going to start tomorrow. That's good to know, because a lot of small businesses are
Laid off employees.
suffering right now. So I think to get the process at least started will be some kind of I think mental relief also for everybody out there.
Right. Unfortunately, they don't give people enough time to prepare for it. They just announced it,
Right.
and the application process starts tomorrow. So I don't know how much is the system going to be overwhelmed, if everybody is going to be able to gather all their information that quickly.
Right.
And then they've also not announced whether everybody is going to be able to get it. So there was, like I said, a rumor that they do have limited funds.
Right.
Again, this in the days to come, this probably will get clarified.
And the stimulus check also, you think it's going to take some time as per your knowledge, or do you think we'll get it immediately? Or we even just heard people are thinking that it may even take up to 2 months.
4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, okay, so this, I believe you're talking about the individual, which is at least $1,200 per person, and $600 per child, and things, and X amount for a married couple, and X amount for head of house. Yes. Now, President Trump just came on and said, okay, I've announced this. And a lot of people mistake that for saying, okay, it's ready to be distributed. But what happens is that all these programs, including the individual $1,200 check program, it's governed by certain agencies. It could be Treasury, it could be IRS. So this one is IRS. And I believe this morning I read that IRS is saying it could take up to 3 weeks. I hope it doesn't get worse than that. It could take up to 3 weeks before people start receiving them. So let's see. It's not immediate, and it's not going to be that it's going to be in our mailboxes tomorrow morning.
Right.
But because at first I heard a date of April 3rd. I also heard a date of April 6th. And now I've heard that they will start going out in 3 weeks. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for everybody. I hope it does happen. And it's through the mail system, because if it's through the banking system, then as far as I know, in my experience, most folks don't have, the IRS doesn't have everybody's banking information. Now, if the IRS is holding a check because it needs your bank's information first, then that could be chaos by itself. So I hope it is through the mail system, and the IRS does this, the Treasury does that through the mail system. And I'm hoping it is within 3 weeks.
Okay, that's really great information. Sandeep, you want to continue with some questions?
Well, I know, I mean, speaking of overwhelmed, during this health crisis, I believe TWC, the Texas Workforce Commission, they're also overloaded with all these requests, right?
Right.
What were they saying? Was it today that they announced it? Or was
today we got an email from them because, as you know, we deal with mostly with small businesses and the individuals associated with small business. And we got an email saying, because the first quarter's reports are due, and they sent us an email saying, don't file, the TWC system is overwhelmed. Don't file your quarterly reports yet because it's overwhelmed with other requests, unemployment requests. So there may be some waiting period there. So we were told to hold off at least through April 15th for filing the quarterly reports. We are, of course, getting ready for it, to do that for all of our clients. But so we heard that they're already saying they're overwhelmed.
This morning was it what 6.6 million people filed unemployment all over US?
And Texas is a very big state. It's one of the lot, and it's got And we are also, blessed with small businesses, and President Trump realizes the strength of this country is in small businesses. And we have, that's been our strength. That's been Texas' strength, the small businesses, the small employers. But unfortunately, that means a lot of employees and a lot of businesses. So, so their system, TWC system, is overwhelmed. I won't be surprised if the site is continuously crashing and people have a lot of wait times. Unfortunately, we just have to bear up with that. So.
Yeah, I think they're overwhelmed with the calls and everything, so they're probably not able to answer any more calls.
Yeah. Any idea
I mean, I've been reading a lot of articles on that, and they said the best time to apply for unemployment benefits is basically from 1 o'clock till 6 a.m. in the morning. That's what they said on their website, on an article I read.
Okay.
They're so overwhelmed during daytime.
Yeah.
These scam emails that are coming, any idea what they look like?
Yeah. Yeah. So the other, there's a couple of things I want to warn everybody, and I hope people are careful. Some of the people that are easily scammed are the seniors, and because seniors get Social Security checks, and they will also get the stimulus check because their banking information is already with the IRS, because the IRS turned the SSA check, the Social Security check system, all through banks years ago. Mm-hmm. So the seniors are very easily scammed. So or they are the first people to be scammed. So anybody who's got seniors in their families or seniors that they know of, please help them out. Just make sure they're not scammed, because what's happening is that these folks, unfortunately, are taking advantage of this. Some people, unscrupulous people, are taking advantage of this. They are scamming, saying, I can get you a stimulus check faster, or I can get you a business stimulus check faster. Go deposit certain fees, or go do this, or even give me us your information. So we got emails from the IRS, and I'll pass on the email addresses and everything to Sandeep, so he can post it on Namaste Radio that folks can read on the irs.gov. They have a special section, very easily accessible, and it's their site. IRS site is not crashing. That they have a certain section on phishing, and they have a certain section on scams. And one of the things they said, of course, individuals, of course, companies that are just coming out of the woodwork and saying we can do this or we can do that for you. So beware of that. And also IRS specifically said in plain English that do not open certain emails and do not open certain websites that are claiming for you to click on them or to open them, and they will help you out. So be very, very careful. So, there's unfortunately, this goes hand in hand. These kind of individuals go hand in hand with a catastrophe that is like that on every individual. Unfortunate. So.
Absolutely. Sandeep, any other questions you have for him today?
For dealing with the taxes during this pandemic, I think you touched on SPA a little bit too. What can you do as a business owner? Just real quick, can you kind of just recap again? What can you do if you're a business owner?
What you can do as a business owner, as we recommend that, stay organized with your paperwork. Make an appointment with your accountant and your bookkeeper or your CPA. And even if that appointment is through Skype or through phone or just going one-on-one to their office, and try to get everything in order. Stay organized, keep everything, keep your 2019 income taxes in order. Keep your first quarter 2020 reports and everything in order, because you never know when a certain authority might, who's giving out SBA or FEMA might require those reports. And do contact SBA either through their website or through the SBA lenders or through FEMA. Do contact these, of course, my office doesn't do any filings or anything like that. We are not geared to do anything like that. We're told to stay independent of doing anything, any of these packages. And, but you can, do contact these authorities directly. Don't try as much as possible. Don't go through agents, unless your bank tells you, yes, go through that particular agent. Unless the SBA tells you, yes, use this agency. Don't go through that, and contact SBA, contact FEMA, contact your SBA lending bank. Stay organized, stay up to date on all your report filings for 2019, 2020. You never know when one of these for the stimulus packages or for a grant or for a loan or that you may be asked to provide that. So like everybody is probably scrambling for tomorrow morning to gather up the information. This is so sudden because, but a little bit politics is there and a little bit, President Trump is trying to help everybody and they're coming up with new ideas and they're sharing them. So, but there are, of course, there are hurdles, there are agencies that are in there, that are going to have a requirement to make sure that you are genuine. So they do need this. They have every right to verify all of this. So my advice to small businesses, even to individuals, is don't take this, don't procrastinate, don't be lazy. Don't take this July 15th as, oh, I got a free card and I can relax now. Stay up to date. Everybody's working at a slow pace. My office is working at a slow pace due to staffing constraints. So, even your accountant, your tax preparer, your bookkeeper, your CPA will give you an appointment, but just pace it out and get everything done. You've been given this gift of 2.5, 3 months. Get everything done slowly, and stay up to date,
Absolutely.
Hope that helps. I hope so.
It does, definitely. Thank you. Today you gave us some really good insights on all these topics, and the last advice was also the best because, like you said, at times when people might just get relaxed that, oh, we have another 2.5 months, TK, let's put it to later. But it's good to solve everything because as a small business, if I have all my paperwork right now, if I'm able to file my taxes, why not? And then and then I probably will be able to get this help that the government is coming forward trying to help us, these SBA loans. Just one quick question before we go today. Do you think if somebody already has an SBA loan, now getting on another SBA loan, like even if it's a PPP or the EIDL, do you think it would affect a current SBA loan?
In my opinion, we don't need that much with SBA loans, but these banks have the first-hand information. But whatever your current obligations are, whether it's SBA or whether it's private, that has no effect on what you may be eligible for as far as PPE or as far as grants or as far as instantly available benefit. Those existing SBA loans, that has no bearing on it. As a matter of fact, SBS probably already has emailed and advised their folks who have SBA loans, their customers, that that we are granting you leeway on this. We are granting you a extension period on this. So you should be relaxed as far as that is concerned. They're probably the first ones to have done that. Excuse me.
Okay. Thank you. One of our listeners just asked me that question, so thank you so much for answering that. And Sushil, do you want to ask?
No, that pretty much sums it up. What Pradeep you said. It's a lot of inside information, and I'm assuming as information because since you're a CPA, you will get the first information rather than among all of us, is because they email you the memo and things like that. So you're the best source of information when it comes to taxes and whatever the stimulus package the government is offering, the details. You know better than all of us among themselves. So I would always tell all of our listeners to just keep posted, keep listening to our show. And any questions, do call.
Yes, Mr. Pradeep Sulhan, in business over 25 years, and you can call him at 281-580-8700. Sandeep, you want to add something to that?
Give the email also. Your email.
Our office email address is office@pspccpa.com. So people can email us. They can call our office 281-580-8700. We have another line 281-583-2993. And like I said, the email address is office@pspccpa.com. And you can contact us. You can leave a message. We'll try to do our best. I do try as a group, as a family business, me, Sid, and Sandeep, we always share this information as much as possible during our morning tea or any small gathering that we have. So I'll keep you all posted as much as possible. I'll take an extra step and keep you all posted if there are new websites or if there's new information that we have. And hope the information I've given out or shared, hope that is of help. And
it is absolutely. Thank you so much.
Valuable information in this point of time.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Namaste Radio, for bringing me on.
I think this is your first time, right?
Yes, first time. Live.
A long time that I've ever done anything like this.
It's been overdue.
But thank you so much. And, we look forward to talking to you again very soon. And
in better conditions, though.
Yes. And stay safe and take care. And thank you so much for always supporting Namaste Radio.
Okay, thanks a lot and namaste.
Namaste.
Hi guys.
Namaste, Sandeep.
Namaste.